Hey, this is David Johnson, running back of the Arizona Cardinals, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from pristineauction.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. The Fantasy Footballers back once more. Jason Moore is here. Mike, the Fantasy Hitman, present.
And accounted for.
That is correct. We've been warned. We have been warned.
We have?
Yeah. Jason had some hot wings for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Jason had some hot wings. We've been warned that bodily functions may become audible.
Well, I can't. So just like you might want to listen through your iPhone speaker today instead of the nice headphones you have on.
Unless, I mean, an intimate look at our opinions is what we promise people.
If you're into like ASMR throat burps,
then this is your channel.
This might be the
Congratulations, you found it.
I can see Brooks is vigorously typing to register that YouTube channel. ASMR throat burps by Jason Moore.
Gargle, gargle.
Gargle.
I call them my lions.
Every day we hear how we should be on the lookout for whatever post-lunch recording extravaganza Jason will bring our way. How were the wings?
Honestly, and this is look, this isn't very hot takey if you've actually had them. It sounds Red Robin has top 5 hot wings.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
But
could be.
So, hey, Mr. Robin, Mrs. Robin, if you're out there, I love your wings. So
you
fly,
would probably,
fly on down.
If they wanted to sponsor, you would take it full payment in wings.
100%. Well, I also want
flats.
burgers.
Probably all flats.
Yeah.
As opposed to the wings. All right, we got a great show. Quarterback early rankings today. I'm excited. We're going to get through as many as we can. Probably not going to linger at the top. Pat Mahomes, very good player. Very good player. Aaron Rodgers, ever heard of him? He'll be in the list.
Yes, but people are mad at him.
Yeah, they're a little upset. And we're not just talking about Mike McCarthy.
No.
We're talking about fantasy owners.
We're talking about apparently Greg Jennings.
Oh, well, you have to fill me in on the
Did you
Greg
read
Jennings.
that? Wasn't it Jennings?
Oh, yeah. No, there was a
From
there
that
was a
article that
trifecta
came
of
out.
people, yeah.
Yeah, when
Put
people
the team on his back.
When people are done playing football and then someone else is still playing football, the done people are very bitter.
I can't wait to feel that way about podcasting.
When you're done?
Yeah.
Neither
What
can,
you're going to say about us?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we can't wait for that time
Those
either.
guys
Because we will still be podcasting.
Right.
And you'll have been kicked off.
And there'll be this article that goes up on The Athletic or something, and Mike will be like, man, those guys, the egos. The egos. All right, hey, listen, we have a very important announcement.
Brooklyn! Listen! Listen to your father!
Big announcement, all right?
It's not as poignant when it's listen. I mean, we're usually assembling people.
Assemble and listen to your father.
Before we get into the news, before we get into the quarterback rankings, we have a very exciting announcement. The NFL Draft, in case you haven't had the radio on, listen to podcasts, go to ESPN.com.
The radio? You go with the radio.
Well, I mean, out here in Arizona,
we're trying to kill the radio.
When I flip on the radio, all they do is talk about the NFL Draft. That was what was on my mind.
All right.
It's in it's just like a week away. Just a little over a week away. And now is the time to pre-order the 2019 Ultimate Draft Kit, and let me tell you why. The reason why is we have a very special UDK NFL Draft pre-sale bundle going on from right now, this moment, until the final day of the NFL Draft. And here's what you get if you order the Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. Before April 28th, you will automatically get the Ultimate Draft Kit at the lowest possible price, the #1 tool for dominating your draft. You'll get a $10 gift card to shopballers.com for some free swag. You will get first access to Dynasty and Rookie rankings, which will be releasing shortly after the NFL Draft. As soon as we can get our heads around where all the players went, we'll get them out there. You'll have them for your Dynasty drafts, for your rookie drafts. Plus, here's the special part of this bundle. If you are in that group that orders before April 28th, you get a chance to win the Ultimate Fantasy Footballers prize pack. Here's what comes in it. We're giving away another one of the spots for the 2019 Listener League. That is the league that you play with us, where you get to be part of the Slack channel. You get to be part of the whole kit and caboodle, and if you win, you come back for the next year. We're giving away one more spot to a lucky winner. We're giving away 2 custom jerseys from fantasychamps.com. We are giving away a special tour prize because our live tour of the podcast will be announced very, very soon, and a lucky winner will get 2 VIP tickets on the next tour, 2 front row seats, a signed limited edition poster, a tour T-shirt, a special meet and greet with the 3 of us at the show.
The front row of our live shows due to Jason's
throat
sweat.
burps?
No, his
okay.
sweatiness. It's actually a splash zone.
It
is. Yeah.
But we will provide the ponchos.
Yeah, the first 3 rows, really.
I run a little hot.
I want to say this: the similarities between Shamu and
I saw where it was going.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I thought you were at least going to go with Gallagher.
He knew where it was going, and I didn't know whether to finish the sentence. For the record, I love Jason so much.
I love you too, brother.
You're proud of me for finishing the joke, right?
I am. If you wouldn't have, I mean, a lot of times I'll read a YouTube comment or something like, "Oh, you guys are so mean to Jason." Like, here's an insight. We're all 3 actually really good friends, and
You've also never seen Jason win a shuffleboard game because he pays it back when he wins that.
I'm a monster. That's just the truth. And so, yeah, give it to me. I can take it.
All right, so that's what we're giving away. You can go to ultimatedraftkit.com to snag your UDK before April 28th, and you will be automatically entered to win. By the way, if you already have yours.
Thank you. I was going to make sure.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say this yet.
If you already have yours, no, you did not need to wait to get it now. You are also entered to win.
Yeah, you were just already in.
You were already in, and you were part of the previous giveaway.
And if we run more giveaways in the future, you're in if you buy it now before the April 28th. Double your chances.
Yeah, here we go. News time.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Sleeper.
all I'm doing is picturing like Dan Rather or Anderson Cooper.
News time.
Here we go. News time.
That's right. That's right. All right, hey, big maybe for you guys. A big maybe. Here's the deal. Russell Wilson, we're recording this show late April 15th. Obviously now it's Tuesday. It's April 16th. But we don't know whether Russell Wilson has signed a contract with the Seahawks or not. It's not trending that way. He gave a deadline. A source told Mike Florio that the Seahawks believe Russ wants to play somewhere else. And if he does not sign, or hasn't signed by the time you're listening to this, according to Russell Wilson, he will not sign an extension with them at all.
Peter King.
Yes, according to Peter King, saying Russell Wilson will not sign an extension ever. Essentially, if they don't get something done now, then he's gonna play out his contract. You can franchise tag him if you need to. He'll go the Kirk Cousins route. Which does lead to the idea that maybe he would trade. There's a lot of possibilities, or maybe he really does want. I think Tyrann Mathieu was out there saying he wants to play in New York. He wants to play in New York. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Also, big news.
Whoa!
Adam Thielen.
He got that bag.
Adam Thielen, 4-year, $64 million contract extension. So Adam Thielen officially getting paid. The Vikings rewarded Adam Thielen. He would have gone into the season making $8 million this year. He's going to make double. He will make $16 million this season. I saw some tweets to this extent. Thielen, Diggs, both locked up. Big money poured into quarterback and wide receivers for a team that wants to run the ball more.
Yeah. I was saying about 90% of their cap is the 2 wide receivers and their quarterback.
But I have been more insistent and more on the other side of that equation, where the over-talk, the over-discussion of the running game. Look, I love Dalvin Cook because he's the only man in town, and they do want to run the ball. Well, when push comes to shove, they had a defense that struggled last year. They have to – I mean, you're not going to – how much money is locked into Thielen, Diggs, and Cousins? $100 million?
The truth isn't that – like when we talk about the Seahawks or the Lions really wanting to be a run-first, run-only type of team. That's not what Minnesota's wanting to do. They just want to be more balanced. Before they fired who was there? DiFilippo. Before they let him go, it was a really obnoxious ratio of as far as to Zimmer, to Mike Zimmer, head coach. So they just want to be more balanced. They want to be able to run the clock out when they're up. They want to be able to, play good football. I think this is a good move. I mean, obviously, I've been saying, and Andy, you've been saying, Thielen is their #1 receiver. He will be the #1 target, and I think it's going to be a good offense.
It's a crazy situation, speaking for the NFL business side, because when Adam Thielen had his breakout coming from his undrafted state, worked his way up, had a little bit of success, not a huge amount.
They rewarded him.
They gave him money. I mean, and they took the gamble on their side saying Thielen is for real, and Thielen took his gamble of saying, I need to cash in on this unless
he got the best of both worlds.
If something terrible happens, teams don't do this where a player has massively outperformed their contract, even when that contract was already a big payday for that player to start with. So this is a very interesting business move by the Minnesota Vikings to me.
Do you agree with the fantasy football sentiment that we talked about last week with the wide receiver show, that you take the guy at the best value between Thielen and Diggs?
Yeah, only if Thielen is the better value, yes.
No, see,
all Thielen all the time for Jason.
They're very close to me, so yeah, I would just take the better value.
Chris Hogan signs a 1-year deal with the Panthers.
Okay.
I spared him. Yeah. I spared him the drop.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I spared him the drop. The Jets signed Ty Montgomery.
It's interesting.
Formerly of the Ravens, Packers last year, to back up Lev Bell.
Yeah,
or be a piece of that puzzle. He is their new Bilal Powell. That's what he is. He's the new Bilal Powell.
Well, and Ty Montgomery is far more like Le'Veon Bell than the other guys that they had on the team.
Have we not talked about Leonard Fournette yet?
No.
Leonard Fournette was arrested in Jacksonville on Thursday for speeding and knowingly driving with a suspended license. So here we are.
Do you get a lesser punishment if you say,
unknowingly?
I did not know that it was suspended?
Well, of course you want to say I did not know. You don't want to go around being like, yeah, I just didn't care.
Well, this sounds to me like Leonard Fournette admitted that he knew it was suspended.
Here's what fantasy owners need to be aware of. It's been a tightrope walk for Leonard Fournette with Tom Coughlin and that organization. They already pulled out the guaranteed money on his last year of the deal. Now you have this situation where Tom Coughlin has been talking up Leonard Fournette. Fantasy owners are expecting big things. There's not a lot of competition. Alfred Blue is there. Like I said, it's a clear path forward for Leonard Fournette. And now there's something that happens here that gives people like Jason, who own him in a lot of leagues, at least a little bit of pause to say, will this be the straw that breaks the camel's back? For Tom Coughlin?
It's not good. It's not good when you've got someone like Tom Coughlin who really does genuinely care about that stuff. I mean, Leonard Fournette laughing on the sideline while they're losing, a lot of coaches would just whatever. He's a human. This was not okay for, Grandpa Tom Coughlin. And so this is one of those things where it's like, I mean, and in fairness, like, it shows a little bit of immaturity. You're a multi-millionaire. You can't pay your traffic fines. Like, take care of your business.
A headache's a headache. That's what look, from what actually happened, this isn't domestic abuse. This isn't some sort of, DUI. This is not something this is a slap on the wrist type of offense.
Yeah, you just don't want your star running back coming up in the news arrested.
Exactly.
Anything.
So that was today's news and notes brought to you by Sleeper. Be sure to switch your Dynasty League over to Sleeper. Download the app today. Guys, it's time. Let's talk quarterbacks. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. I don't know.
Quarterbacks.
And now,
the thing is,
quarterbacks.
When I can't find the drop to hit, I'm sorry to tell you this. This is human nature. I'm a fallen person. I just want to blame Brooks. I don't want it to be my fault. I instantly want it to be Brooks' fault.
Well, let me
he didn't capitalize the drop. It was a lowercase.
Okay, so based on that,
yeah.
Would you say that this was Brooks' fault in this situation?
This one, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this one, yes.
If I were running the soundboard, I mean, there's so many buttons over there that you could push. and I could not find what I needed to push.
Oh,
I would just push something.
close your eyes. Push.
Oh, because you don't want to get to that awkward point.
Right. Let's close your eyes. Let's get to the new draft.
Now, quarterbacks.
Carry on my wayward son.
Yes.
I did close my eyes. That was great. Now quarterbacks. Kerryon Johnson. All right. Hey, look, we did not include rookies in these rankings. I say that because I really wanted to. I believe I believe Kyler Murray will end up in a starting role, drafted so high that he has to be, whether it's Oakland or Arizona or New York or wherever, Denver, who knows. But he'll be starting. So I think Kyler Murray starting defaults him in the top 15. I really do.
100% in the top 15. If he's a top 10 quarterback, I won't be surprised at all. And I wouldn't doubt if going into draft season, he is my #1 target at the position. Because depending on where – I mean, if he doesn't get the steam of this year's fantasy success and he's drafted like a rookie quarterback, I will absolutely take him for the potential. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson, right? Comes in and rookie season or Cam, the guys that run, rookie season, they dominate.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw this last year, and he's a special player. But we'll have plenty of time post-draft to talk all about where the rookies went, best possible fits, best draft, best players for fantasy. So we'll get there. Right now, we're going to cover our consensus top quarterbacks here in April. It's April 15th when we're recording this, and we all have a very surprising name at the top of the list. Now, I want to set a little context for the quarterback position first, okay, guys? If we include Week 17 of last year, we saw a total number of 41 different quarterbacks put up a top 12 performance. Why is that important, Mike?
Because you can stream the position. It's a very replaceable part of your fantasy football team.
I think that Jason and I both commented when we were ranking our initial quarterbacks kind of how annoying it is, because you look at 24 guys, and while there are tiers, undoubtedly tiers of quarterbacks, you get to this area where the order could be anything between, I don't know, 6 through 14. So we took our shot. We ranked our guys. We'll bring them up on the show.
A couple of years ago, the quarterback situation in the NFL started looking murky. You had guys getting older. You had Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and they were about to leave, and there weren't heir apparent replacements. And so it's like it was scary. Then all of a sudden you look at the last few years, and you've got Carson Wentz and
Dak Prescott,
Pat Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson, but none of the old guys are gone yet. So right now, more than any year I can remember, there's 21 quarterbacks, not including Kyler Murray, where I think Kirk Cousins is my 21st ranked quarterback. I'd be just fine going into 2019 with Kirk Cousins.
And to speak to the cluster, last year in standard scoring, the point per game differential between quarterback 8 and quarterback 14 was less than a single point.
That's probably the most compelling argument to stream quarterback, unless you get an incredible value on a top-end guy. If QB8 to QB14 had a differential of less than a point a game, that tells you that you are literally wasting a pick if you overpay for somebody in that middling tier. Unless you are – look, shoot your shot. If you are convicted that – like last year, Pat Mahomes obviously did not go at the top of the draft.
Oh, he was super late.
If you are positive that Baker's going to be the #1 quarterback, okay, maybe that rises him up that middling tier, but the evidence is there. And look, scoring is up. The way these offenses are being run has been very advantageous to the quarterback position. There were 33 weeks last year of 30-plus fantasy points from the quarterback position. That was almost double the year before.
Yeah, 2 years ago was weird.
Was.
Weird wide receiver scoring, weird quarterback scoring.
That was the year that we had a lot of wide receiver injury as well,
yes.
I believe. All right, let's jump into it. Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes at #1. Not surprising. Finished #1. Had 14 quarterback 1 weeks.
He was, I mean, look, we can almost skip Pat Mahomes. Here's the reality. He was so much better than the second quarterback that the whole, we are huge proponents of drafting your quarterback late streaming the position, meaning play him off of the waiver wire, grab a guy and play the matchup more than the quarterback himself. Pat Mahomes is the only quarterback here that is worth an early pick if he were to repeat. If he were to repeat the success, he is 100% worth statistically, mathematically, looking at what you're replacing in the draft at wide receiver and running back, he would be worth it. Now, will he repeat that? I don't think so. I think that we've got enough evidence of monstrous quarterback seasons that all come down to earth, even when they're good. Peyton, Aaron Rodgers, those type of things. So I would not even consider Pat Mahomes. But if he does repeat, then you're happy. Otherwise,
I would consider Pat Mahomes. I think he will repeat. I think it'll be pretty close.
8.6%. And that's how many. 8.6 of his attempts were touchdowns. That's ludicrous.
The case that I have for it is that number one, Patrick Mahomes is a generational type of talent. Number two, he's matched up with the best or top 3 play callers in the league. If you look at the reason I think he's such a differentiator and why those numbers can stay the same is if you look at 3rd and long, who throws the ball deep? Well, Patrick Mahomes is in another echelon of what that offense does. 30% of the time, he's throwing the ball deep on 3rd and long and taking a shot. You know what Dak Prescott did? 9%. Jared Goff in the super offense, 10%. Drew Brees, 10%. That's an unbelievable type of number from Patrick Mahomes. Now, if Tyreek Hill is not there, the ceiling changes when you take the fastest player in the game away from him. But all of this to say, how early do you take Patrick Mahomes
right
in a redraft?
Right now, he's going at the 7th pick of the 2nd round.
No way, man.
301. I'll take the jump.
The thing is, if Patrick Mahomes puts up 35 touchdowns, that's a great season. That's an excellent season for a quarterback. You're happy with your fantasy numbers, but that would be a massive, colossal bust if you drafted him at the back of the 2nd or the early 3rd and he only throws 35 touchdowns.
If he throws 45?
Of course. If he throws 45, but then now you're talking about and I'm fine calling him like –
look, I'm trying to make –
saying he's a generational guy, but to say he's going to hit 45, you're talking – okay, he's a top 2 quarterback of all time already.
It's not necessarily saying that because the precedent set for the quarterback position in previous years that we lean on. Look, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
I still on the whole, we never advocate taking a quarterback high, and I don't want to. But if you do take him, and what if I told you this? Let's frame it differently. If you believe Patrick Mahomes was an 80% chance at a near repeat of the fantasy production, do you take him?
If I believe
in the second round, if you believed it was an 80% chance.
If I believe there's 80%, then yes.
Yeah.
100%. So where are you in that percentage, in that belief?
Do you
believe it's 50-50?
I'm at 20%.
I was going to say I would be close to the 20 to 25%.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Andrew Luck comes in at number 2.
Really, I feel like there's 3 guys that come in at 2, 3, 4. Would we agree there? Like kind of the next grouping, we all have the same top 4.
Luck, Rodgers, Watson. That's how they ended up landing Luck, Rodgers, Watson in that order based on how we ranked them, mostly because Mike had Rodgers at 4.
Dummy.
So Andrew Luck, 39 touchdowns, 4,593 yards. You could kind of throw out those first 3 weeks of the season as he hadn't played football in about a decade or so it seemed. But he had an NFL record 8 straight games with 3 or more touchdowns from weeks 4 through 12 after that warm-up period. And he was great. And this is a team that I love. This is a team that I think can threaten for an AFC title.
The reason that I would put Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck ahead of Watson, even though Watson's been great, is just because you have a history of basically those 2 players dominating. If you've got 16 games from those 2 players, minus the rookie year for Andrew Luck, you're pretty much dealing with a top 5 guy almost every single time. You look at Andrew Luck, the 5th best 2 years ago, 4th best, the 2nd best, the 4th best. Even his rookie year, he's the 9th best. So you've got this history of like, what's the floor? What's the floor for these guys, barring injury or something like that? It's like quarterback 7. You've got a lot of data to support that between those 2. So if I'm taking the gamble of I think someone's going to be for sure locked and loaded top 5, Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck, they've done it too many times.
Yeah, they're fully in the kind of prime part of their career where you look at when Brady was there, you didn't really care what the weapons were. Brady was going to be in your top 5, top 8. Luck has hopefully a healthy T.Y. Hilton, Funchess, Ebron, weapons aplenty. They'll probably draft some. Did you have anything you want to add about Andrew Luck before we talk Rodgers?
No, not Luck. I'm ready for Rodgers.
All right. I'm going to press pause for a second because I do want to thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh makes conquering the kitchen a reality with deliciously simple recipes and some fresh, pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. We've been talking about HelloFresh for a long time. I can still remember making this delicious caramelized onion burger with my wife from HelloFresh. All the meals come together fast, 30 minutes max, less than 2 pots or pans. So they're kind of like, it's not just sending you something you have to work all day on. They kind of know what's going on. They know you want a delicious meal. They know you want different plans. They got classic and veggie and family. So get out of that recipe rut. Cook outside your comfort zone by trying out HelloFresh. And you can do that right now and get $80 off your first month by going to HelloFresh.com/footballers80 and entering the code footballers80. That's HelloFresh.com/footballers80 and enter the code footballers80 for 20 off your first 4 boxes. It's a pretty good deal. All right, Aaron Rodgers. Mike, you got him before. Talk about Aaron Rodgers.
So I do have Aaron Rodgers the lowest, but I have the case for Aaron Rodgers if people weren't aware of what happened to him last year when he was still the quarterback 6
Correct.
On the season. Aaron Rodgers saw his touchdown percentage drop 2 full points from his career average, from 6.2 down to 4.2. And the problem came down, at least in my estimation, one, he was badly injured in week 1. You thought he was done for the year. But then it came down to red zone attempts. That's what made it's always made Aaron Rodgers different than other quarterbacks. As soon as they get in the 20, they get into this inside the 10. When most teams are saying, okay, we're going to run it up the middle, Aaron Rodgers says, no, thank you. I'm going to throw it. But you saw the red zone attempts of the past 5 years. You're talking he's averaging a little over 100 attempts inside the red zone. And then last year, 2018, it dropped all the way to 64. There's a massive, massive plummet. And it was his weapons.
What do you attribute that to?
The weapons.
Injury?
Yeah, the weapons and the injury. Last year, through the first 4 games, Geronimo Allison was on a pace of he was catching 5 receptions a game for 72 yards, averaging half a touchdown. Geronimo Allison, this is just another reminder, was excellent for fantasy football while he was healthy. Then he got hurt. The rookies did not step up. So that's my case for Aaron Rodgers. Will the new coaching staff let him throw the ball inside the 20? And I think they will.
Yeah, he's going to decide that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball inside the 20 because Aaron Rodgers wants to throw the ball inside the 20. Your case, to me, is a reason why he might be a really good value this year relative. He's not a good value because he's going early in drafts and he's a quarterback, but relative to where you usually get him. You know, he's got 8 of his last 10 seasons at 15 or 16 games, and of those, including this last year where he finished 6th, and he had 1 down year when he lost Jordy where he finished 7th, he averages just past the quarterback 2 over those 8 seasons.
Right.
He's got a chip on his shoulder the size of Mike McCarthy. Okay. So I feel like if you're going to take a shot at someone, I'm going to take a shot at, you know, who is considered one of the top 5 quarterbacks all time, who's proven it forever, who's getting a new offensive mind in there with a lot to prove. The health issues that you just talked about, look, Geronimo Allison should be back. So I actually like Aaron Rodgers of those top quarterbacks. But again,
in the context of
if
where
you're in a
drafted.
2-quarterback league, I think he provides a value for where he'll go.
By the way, he was the only other player than Mahomes. I said 30% of the time on 3rd and long, he's throwing deep. Rodgers was at 23%. No other quarterback was above 20%, kind of adding to the fuel to the fire of Jason's he'll do what he wants kind of mindset, even with the handcuffing of Mike McCarthy. Deshaun Watson at number 4, Baker Mayfield at 5. Watson all the way up at number 2 for Mike. Jason, you and I have him at 4. Last year he had a heck of a season. Highest completion percentage for a second-year quarterback in NFL history. He had to run around a lot. He was sacked 62 times. I remember the John Kitna season in 2006 when he was sacked more than 62 times. That was the highest since then.
A lot of those sacks, that's on Watson.
100%.
Like, his offensive line is, I would not call them a strong unit, but you watch him hold on to the ball. And what's crazy, I want to see if you guys feel the same way as I do, because I remember we had pumped the brakes on Watson because his draft price got absolutely out of control. He was the second quarterback off the board.
After his rookie year.
Yeah. And it was, hold the phone, people. This is what he did. You can't possibly do that again. But it felt like about at least halfway through that he wasn't having a great fantasy year. Like that was how I felt when I would watch my opponent who was in my division. He had Watson, and I was just laughing hysterically because there were so many games where Watson was actually hurting his team. But then things started to come back together for Watson. So that my point is why I have him at number 2. I think he was shook coming back from the injury. He had to work his way back into the flow of the game to have more confidence in his legs. He still ran the ball like crazy, over 550 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. I think that Watson will be completely back to health, completely back to mental health, and that's the difference for me.
I love Deshaun Watson, love everything about him. Him being at 4 to me has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with the history we have in Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck, and then, of course, Pat Mahomes.
Last year, Watson went at 502. This year, he's going so far at 602. Would you have been happy?
That's almost a round better value.
You're spot on, Jason. I've done the math.
Almost.
But would you have been happy with him at 502 last year?
No way.
No.
What if you got the same value at 602 this year? Are you happy with that?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Baker Mayfield coming in at number 5. He's number 5 on mine. He's number 5 on Jason's. Mike's at 7.
Yeah.
Mike hates Baker. That's the thing to take away from this segment.
How
Mike hates Baker Mayfield.
dare you speak that evil into this show?
I've got Bakermania. I've got Bakermania. You've got Bakermania.
Clearly.
But
yeah.
Mike
does not have Bakermania. Mike also doesn't like him as a player or person.
Right. It actually says he's a little arrogant for my taste.
That's
not me, but Mike.
Mike says that, yeah.
I would recommend, if you're holding your iPhone, to place it down because my rage could explode your battery.
There could be some radiation.
There's a problem.
Well, that's my guy.
So-
That's my guy, Baker.
No. Oh! You're right. It does hurt.
It hurts a lot.
Thank you.
So, look, it's hard not to have Bakermania right now for Jason and I. And, look, from week 7 through 16 last year, he was the QB 10 ahead of names like Goff, Rivers, Trubisky, added Odell Beckham Jr. What I love about Baker, here's a stat that I saw this morning. I don't think I ended up tweeting it out. Baker Mayfield had the second highest quarterback rating inside the 20 in the red zone. Last year he had ice water on that struggling Hugh Jackson-led Cleveland Brown team. He was a great red zone quarterback. Coming into year 2, there's a lot of reasons to love him, and we don't want to knock the pendulum too far that direction.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, clearly. 7. With your hate? You have him at 7, right?
Here's the reason I'm at 5.
That's not even in the top 6.
Well said. Here's the reason I have him number 5. Because when I look at this group, this starts the 3rd tier for me. And the 3rd tier, even though it starts at number 5, it goes all the way down to like quarterback 13. And of that group, which I love every single player in there, I want the unknown. I want the ability to say, okay, maybe
you sound
Baker
like a
comes
father,
out.
Like with all his kids. I love every single one of you.
I
love
them
you all the same.
But I have a favorite.
Like a good father.
Right, like a real father.
But your favorite is the unknown?
Yeah, it's the unknown. If I know you, I don't like you. No, the reality is I'm hoping if I'm taking any quarterback early, I need them to go Pat Mahomes. I need them to go nuclear. I don't want them to do what Deshaun Watson did last year and have a good year. And that's the hope with Baker. Do I think he does that? I would lean on the side of no. But he has the chance. He came in after not starting the whole season. And did he tie or break the all-time rookie passing touchdown record? One of those two.
He broke it. Yeah, he did not play in the first 2 weeks.
He broke it, but you would not be happy with that season, obviously. I mean, he set a record for a rookie passer, not playing the first 2 weeks. Mike, I'm not sure I buy into your the unknown aspect when you combine that with the next two guys on the list, Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, and the struggles that they're coming off of injury, they're coming off of shoulder surgery and things like that. If anything, I would say a strong argument can be made for Matt Ryan, who had a monstrous #2 fantasy season. Ryan probably deserves the respect of being here.
I believe you should look at my ranking of Matt Ryan.
Which is where you have him appropriately.
I believe you should all look at my ranking of Matt Ryan, which is where he will finish.
You have such bad takes when it comes to Matt Ryan.
That's okay.
Like, I
Are
feel
we
like,
skipping down here? Because I'm happy to talk about Matt Ryan.
No, we will give you, trust me, you will be the one to talk on Matt Ryan because you have him at 13 after a #2 fantasy season. No doubt about it.
Sounds very Matt Ryan-y.
It could be Matt Ryan-y, but I just feel like it's so disrespectful to go from 2 to 13.
Is it disrespectful to go from 2 to 15? Because that's what he did a couple years ago.
That was disrespectful for us.
It was
as
disrespectful to
players,
fantasy
yes.
owners. All right, we'll move on from Baker. The big deal with Baker is you're adding one of the best wide receivers in the league, arguably the best, to an ascendant talent. You've got elite talent out of the backfield. You got elite talent on the outside. You got elite talent at the tight end position, and you got a great O-line. You got everything going in that direction. But you need him to, he's got to go from 27 touchdowns to the 40 range for a #5 ranking to come through, or the 35 range.
No, he can be in the low 30s, but he also was only around 3,700 yards. So get that up to 4,400 yards, and then you'll be all right.
Carson Wentz at 6. Maybe surprising for fantasy owners as well. Deshaun Jackson rejoins the fold in Philadelphia. Hopefully a healthy Alshon Jeffrey and company. Look, last year, didn't finish the season again. Was playing pretty good, though. Very nice completion percentage to start the season. It's all about looking at whether you believe Philadelphia is going to get back on track.
I mean, I've got the pros and cons for Wentz very easily. He really only started 10 games and averaged basically 23 fantasy points per game, which puts him in the upper tier of quarterbacks during that stretch. And he's got the best wide receiving core he's ever had. You've still got Zach Ertz. You've still got Alshon Jeffrey. They add Deshaun Jackson, a second year for Dallas Goedert. I love the weapons, love everything here. I have him at 6. That was before the latest report that I heard about the rehab and what's going on with the back. Because similar to Cam Newton, who we've got next, I've got Cam down at 9. I like all these guys in the tier, so why would I risk myself? I can make all the arguments as to how good Carson Wentz is. Same with Cam Newton. But I want to try to avoid the people who have – like I don't need to draft either one of them.
You would take the best value of the tier.
Yes, the best
value. If you were going to force
tier.
yourself into a draft pick. And I get it. Look, Carson Wentz has to run the ball. If he doesn't run the ball, he doesn't belong here.
He's okay, not great.
He never had a great game last year. In all the games he returned, he ran for 93 yards on the season.
What?
That's it.
Really?
So that's the difference. I mean, he just wasn't the same Carson Wentz you got when he was MVP candidate. That's what I have, 34 for 93. Am I wrong?
Just making no, that's right.
Okay, I was about to
No,
check that.
I mean, I'm just double checking, but no great games. And the reason is he's not running the football, and he did not have enough weapons, he just didn't deliver the big-time games.
Well, we kind of expected him to run less coming back off of that knee injury in year 1, and then in year 2, he'd run more. Except now in year 2, he's dealing with a back injury. So is he gonna do the same 9.3 yards per game?
He
on
would
the
be a
ground?
quick drop in this tier in our rankings that you'll probably see in the Ultimate Draft Kit moving forward if he does not show that he's going to be healthy and he's able to do it. Now, Nick Foles isn't there. They don't have the fallback plan.
Right.
Not anymore. Cam Newton comes in at number 7. I have him at 10. Jason at 9. Mike at 6. He could do the reverse. He could do the reverse in my mind and in my rankings. He could move up. He's probably the sneakiest of this group. Now that Chris Hogan's on that team.
Oh, what an ad.
But look, Cam Newton, when he is healthy, is always an elite fantasy football producer. Even last year, the struggles with the shoulder, 29% of his games. Great. Winning weeks.
He finished as a quarterback 1, despite the fact that he was not even an NFL quarterback the second part of the year when he couldn't throw more than 12 yards.
Yeah.
That's how fire he was to start the year. Quarterback 2 the year prior, 2 years prior to that, the quarterback 1.
Yeah, that's why
9 quarterback 1 weeks.
I've got him at 6, but this is it's wait and see for Cam Newton.
I mean, I had Cam when I started making these rankings. I had him at 5 as my #1 quarterback in that next tier, that tier 3 group. But then I just started realizing, because a couple of years ago he had this surgery he had in the offseason, and he came back out from it totally on fire. It helped him, and he was great. And so you can make the argument. I can see him coming back and being awesome. But you got to go, well, he was worse this year than he was when he got his last surgery. Also, this isn't his first. It's his second. He is obviously, by nature of nature, older than he was the first time around.
Ah, yes.
And so there's, why?
Time.
The nature of nature.
The great equalizer.
Yes. So it's just one of those things where if he's healthy, he is.
But see, there's a
top
lot of
3
if.
guy.
There's if for Baker. There's if for Wentz. There's if for Newton. Now you believe there is if for Matt Ryan, whereas I think Matt Ryan, I will be moving him up just on the basis of these discussions.
Join me.
Then I will be moving him down.
I have him at 9. Mike,
I know. I need to equalize the ranking.
Mike has him at 5, and I get it. Look, why do we like Baker?
Weapons.
Weapons.
And he's a good quarterback.
Matt
Talent.
Ryan have any weapons?
Age.
Matt Ryan have any weapons? Julio Jones?
Yes.
Wait, you're worried about Matt
Calvin
Ryan's
Ridley,
age?
Mohamed Sanu, Devonta Freeman
I'm not worried about Matt Ryan's age. He
Oh.
said, why do we love Baker?
Okay.
He's a
Matt Ryan
second-year player.
has done this before. He's put up multiple top 3 fantasy seasons.
Yes, he has. What's he done
So
every single season following those top
I just
seasons?
don't like those kind of arguments in
No,
fantasy.
I'm not.
I
look,
hate those kind of
you
arguments.
can't predict that, just because every other year he has a great year and every other year he has a down year, it's going to continue. You can't do that, and that's not what I am doing. Now, that's not to say that that's not true. Going from 7 to 15 to 7 to 19 to 2 to 15 to 2 to I don't know, but here's the reason that I don't that I'm against Matt Ryan, essentially. You look at his last 4 years, he's had 2 really great years where he threw a lot of – it's all based on one thing and one thing alone, touchdowns. That's it. He threw 38 touchdowns in his MVP year 2 years ago, 35 last year. Those are great. You're going to have a great time. But the other 2 mixed in –
It's going to be a party.
The other 2 mixed in, it's not like he threw 30. He threw 21. He threw 20. And what happened this last year? His main red zone weapon on the ground, Devonta Freeman, wasn't there. Take some of those touchdowns away. I just feel like Matt Ryan is not – I mean, put it this way. Average in those last 4 years, including the massive MVP years and last year, just average them in touchdowns. And that's 28 touchdowns is what he has been averaging over that time. I mean, that's losing 42 points off of this last year. Now he's quarterback 13, where I've got him ranked. I don't think he is a guarantee. You've got to change an offensive coordinator. You've got Devonta Freeman. And hopefully
a change back.
To the guy he
change.
had an MVP season with.
Nonetheless, a change from the system he just threw 35 touchdowns with. And Devonta Freeman and the running – I can't imagine the running game not getting better than it was last year, which was really bad.
But don't you think it's a little bit pick and choose when you can rank Jameis Winston, where I see him – you have him at like 7.
Too low.
But that change – the change is bad for Matt Ryan, but the change is good for Jameis Winston just because Winston has never done it. If Winston put up a monster season, is the change bad for Jameis Winston?
No, but I'm not ranking him here because of change. Change is one of the multitude of reasons. I'm ranking him here based on what Matt Ryan himself has done over the course of his career and what the truth about Matt Ryan is and his touchdown rate. That's why I'm ranking him there. I'm just adding on that he also is having a coordinator change. I don't believe that that is necessarily better. I am a gigantic believer. Like, for instance, this is dealing with the exact same human, Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter is the change for both of those quarterbacks. Do you, Andy, believe that Dirk Cutter is a very good offensive coordinator?
I think he's a pretty good offense coordinator, yeah.
I said very good. Please answer the question.
No, I don't think he's very
Where were
good.
you on the night of the 25th?
But right, so, Bruce Arians, I think, is a very good offensive mind. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
So that's the – I mean –
But, I mean, we're splitting here. It still comes down to talent on the field. I mean, it doesn't matter
Matt
how
Ryan
good.
is a great quarterback.
And Matt Ryan has Julio Jones, an ascendant
And
Calvin
now
Ridley.
has Calvin Ridley.
Ridley
That's-
is a game breaker for him.
That's the difference to me is
I think he could finish. Matt Ryan could easily finish as the top 3 quarterback again.
the difference to me
Not
is
saying he will. I have him ranked at like 8 or 9 because of the reasons you brought up. But I'm not going to throw him 6 points below Jameis Winston like an insane person.
is Julio Jones
Just call Jason Stephen A. Smith.
entered his
Oh,
entered
no,
his
hold
cocoon.
on.
I'm
Edit
talking
that
over
out.
you. He entered
Edit
his,
that out. That's disgusting.
He entered his
You
cocoon.
said that a lot like Stephen.
Shamu is fine. You could call me Shamu. I'm fine with that. I've got a few extra LBs. You call me Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, bad takes.
Goodness.
Julio Jones metamorphosized last year into Julio Touchdown Jones. We saw that happen. Back when Matt Ryan was having the years where he is, you're right, with the 20 touchdowns, 21, he wasn't playing with 2 first-round wide receivers. Calvin Ridley is a massive difference to this offense. I don't necessarily love Calvin Ridley as a standalone fantasy wide receiver, but I think he is a massive difference to Matt Ryan being able to sustain his touchdown rate. It might come down a bit, but you give Matt Ryan 31, 32 touchdowns. I think that's well within the realm of possibility. He's never had a problem with yards ever, and he's going to be cheap. People will not pay up for Matt Ryan in fantasy drafts. They just won't do it.
They're not
Okay,
right. It's 703 right now. Behind Brees, behind Watson, just ahead of Wilson.
let me
they're
make-
going to pay him higher. They're going to take him higher because of the number 2 finish.
Let me make – yes, they will.
But
They
finish
will
number
mistakenly
2
do
is
that.
going in the 7th round.
Yes.
All right, let me make my final point on Matt Ryan. Week 1, were the Falcons considered a very likely Super Bowl contender?
Of last year?
Going into last season,
Yes, yes, they were.
100%.
Yes.
In week 3, were they? No, they were dead. Why? Anybody remember? They lost all of their defense. Their defense just got destroyed.
Sure.
They lost all their best players to season-ending injuries, and then they were giving up 43 points a game, 37, 41, 29. I mean, they were giving up monster points. So Matt Ryan's got to air it out and score touchdowns. Like, they can't win the way that they wanted to, and they were in complete shootouts week in and week out.
There's only one way to settle this.
Let's do it.
Top 10 finish for Matt Ryan.
Put me down.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, you went in?
Of course I'm in on that.
Water bet.
Now, I want the record to show, because people ask this question. We're going to do a better job tracking and posting the water bet results this year because Al Borland, the producer from the Spitballers podcast, who's sitting behind the desk next to Judge Giamatti himself, he's going to make sure that we stay on top of these. We post them to YouTube. He's got his thumbs up.
We got the thumb.
The
thumb is up.
Just one. But we'll
Well, 2 would be ridiculous.
yeah,
Have you ever given 2 thumbs up?
just like 2. That's a little over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those have to be immediately followed
When's the
with
last
finger
time you've
guns.
given a real thumbs up in general, just like for a good reason, like thumbs up, dude.
all the time to kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, to an adult. I'm talking about like when's the last thumbs up you've given to an adult?
Wow, a thumbs up to an adult. Never.
It's been a minute.
Never.
Maybe like
Only like when I'm doing the scene from Gladiator.
what if somebody's like you're
Oh, that always ends in thumbs down for me. Always. I only pull this out when I know it's going to be negative.
oh yeah okay. I don't think we do that anymore. We don't drink milk in public once you're past a certain age, and we don't give
Wait,
we don't give
that's
thumbs
a good
up.
point.
Nah, I'll get milk.
A glass of milk.
At a restaurant.
If I'm at like an IHOP or a Denny's because I already hate myself, I am fine getting the glass. I'll take the milk over the OJ.
But you don't do chocolate. You get white milk.
No, chocolate milk.
Wait, is that a
It's
hashtag
great.
not a sponsor after that Denny's endorsement?
Look, I love pancakes.
I want them to be 5 cents each.
Come at me, Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
not
You
Denny's.
glass of milk at Denny's, then it's permitted. All right, Russell Wilson and Drew Brees round out the top 10. Apparently, we're going to have a second quarterback show. Brooks, this just in. Breaking news.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you knew that. Okay, so number 9, Russell Wilson. I've got him at 7, Jason 8, Mike all the way at 14. Dare I say, this is your Matt Ryan moment. Share your hate for Russell.
It's not hate. Remember that stat I talked about at the beginning of the show where quarterbacks 8 through 14 were there was like a 1 point difference. I just don't like the way that things are going for the offense for Seattle.
Healthy Doug Baldwin doesn't intrigue you?
Well, but here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, insane regret. Touchdown regression is coming for Patrick Mahomes, who had a touchdown rate of 8.6. Russell Wilson was at 8.2. Like, that's not happening again for Russell Wilson. If it drops into the 6s,
it seems to happen to Russell Wilson though.
But he's not going to throw in the 8s, even if it comes down to the 6, that's a really healthy.
That's top of the NFL.
Yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers' career. That's someone who throws a ton of touchdowns every single year. You will be disappointed that you have Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the amount of targets and a perfect passer rating to Tyler Lockett, who was scoring a touchdown every week, if you assume that Tyler Lockett's going to have some regression on the touchdown side, you have to assume the same thing for Russell Wilson unless you're going to give them all back to Dougie B.
Wilson's fantasy finishes in his career 10-8-3, 3-11-1, 9.
Yeah.
Last year, we saw a little bit more of even with the efficiency, number 9. Maybe that adds a little bit of ammo to your argument, Mike. Maybe he is more appropriately where we have him 9, 10, 11 range.
It's not him.
Right.
I love Russell Wilson. I wish Russell Wilson was the quarterback for my team.
Schottenheimer's doing the it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. They wanted to run. They want 1985 football, and it worked, so they're going to do it again.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. When it comes to the Lions and the Seahawks, those are two teams that don't just want to run more, they want to run everybody.
Pete, it's 3rd and 8. We're going to run.
Russell may run away. That's what
He
might end
could.
up
New
happening.
York.
Second fewest passing attempts in the NFL.
Exactly.
Drew Brees rounding out the top 10. Mercifully, Jason's incredibly bullish Jameis Winston take did not push Winston into the top 10, but just barely. Even a guy like Mike who loves Jameis Winston tempered it.
Yep.
There's a lot of upside there. But Drew Brees, Jason, you were a big Drew Brees fan last season. He ended up throwing for just a hair under
my guy. No, that was Mike's.
4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I think we know who Drew Brees is now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really good. It was hard for me because I want to be on Drew Brees, Team Brees. That's great. But as I put him in this group, I kept just moving him back one spot.
I did
it's
too.
like
He's a year or two ahead of where Brady is.
Right.
Like Brady, you've been declining the fantasy production due to age and like the change of the offense and peppering the short stuff. Like Brees, I think, had a average depth of target that was not impressive. Or at least him and Michael Thomas did.
Yes, Michael Thomas,
did.
that's correct.
But you do see like the career arc being maybe a year or two behind where Brady is.
Yeah, he was not in the top 12 for consistency. He had some real dud games, but he's still Drew Brees.
If you got him for free, are you starting Drew Brees for 16 games in your fantasy league?
No. I would love to get him for free, and I would start him probably 10 of those 16 and stream against, the poor matchups.
Mike, are you I mean, he had some real duds. Week 13, 7 points. Week 15, 5 points.
It's
Week 8, 6 points.
It's funny because Drew Brees was a very heated debate on this show all of last season where Jason and I were on polar opposites, and he landed as the meat right in the sandwich between us. And
right in the sandwich.
Right in the old sandwich. And what's funny is the argument on both of our sides. Jason was, well, the passing attempts went from 673 down to 536. And I said, yeah, they're going to go back up. But they declined again.
But the touchdowns.
But Brees was still way better than Jason thought he would be.
We were exactly 50% right, and if you put our two takes together, that was last year's Drew Brees.
Yes.
If you took away Brees' last 4 games,
he would have been much
put him
higher,
at
right?
QB 24 in that span, Jason would have been much wronger.
Yes.
As they say. All right, that does it for today's show, but I just don't want to let you go without one more thing.
Pristine deal of the day.
That would be letting you know that yesterday one lucky bidder
Oh, I hope it was me.
It wasn't you. On pristineauction.com, an Alvin Kamara signed New Orleans Saints jersey with an inscribed Rookie of the Year 17 on it, $59. That's silly. That's stupid. That's outlandish. That's pristineauction.com, hundreds of daily auctions. And that does it for today's episode of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a good episode on Thursday.
Oh, Jameis. You going to talk about Jameis, Jason?
Oh, yes, I am.
We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.